Hello, welcome to Fine Mathematics. My name is Eric, and these are our continued conversations on executive functions. We're in Chapter 2, Part 3, on hard tools of the trade, so to speak. So these are pretty simple. These are pretty straightforward, what you would imagine. So hard tools are the physical things we can touch, the tangible stuff. So this would be the backpack, the computer, the mouse, a scheduler or an agenda book of some sorts, and then your basic supplies, pens, pencils, erasers, and things like that. Now these are very important because they provide they provide the student to set up their mobile office. And if you have a student that goes between two homes, if they have, mom and dad are separated or something like that, then they go between two different homes, then they can take their backpack, and when they go to one home one, let's say, they set everything up and they have their mobile office ready to go there. They close it back down, they go to school, they have their mobile office there and it's functioning and working, close it back down, they go to the second home, repeat the process. So if there is two homes, then I'd recommend that both homes are set up from Chapter 1 on the environment with those thoughts in mind, with those intents and thoughts and structures in mind. That way it makes it easier for the student to keep the same routines between both homes. Because it's very important that as we're building these infrastructure for a student, that things are relatively consistent. Things are relatively the same. There's not a completely different system in another home as there is in one home. And the same applies when you go to school. So the hard tools of the trade are the tangible things. Now, one little thing to keep in mind, because everybody's a little different, it's easy to get a backpack and then the students say, oh, I like this pen holder, I like this thing, I like this thing. Next thing you know is you got so many things you're carrying and prepping and closing and doing that it's kind of destroying the whole efficiency of the whole process. So a kind of a simple rule of thumb is keep things simple. Minimize the amount of things you have to take to school, or your student, or your child for that matter. Keep it simple. So I'd recommend a 3-ring binder. Well, let's back up first. So a backpack that can house a computer that also has some protection for a computer. There's many of them on the market now, and maybe even a mouse. Also has some spots for maybe some other basic supplies. Even some of the new backpacks have places where you can charge your computer in the backpack. That way it's all ready to go. Just unplug it and you're ready to go. This will come again later on in systems and routines. Also, I'd recommend a 3-ring binder. Now, this is kind of an old school thing in a sense, because nowadays half the students, or at least half the time roughly-ish, is online. So a lot of students, especially the older students, seems like a lot of the work is done digitally. They may not need a 3-ring binder, but a 3-ring binder that's roughly 2 or 3 inches thick, and I would say have one. And then you get dividers in there and then divide up all the classes. That way there's one nerve center for all the work. All the work can be stored there. All the work can be given to the teachers from there. There's not one binder for every class. Now you got 6 folders going in the backpack. And I've seen students go to school literally like they're going on some trek up Everest or something like that. It's crazy. Keep it simple. And now, however, there are some times where teachers require a folder for just their class. So you got to make amendments, but keep things simple. Minimize it, right? That's always a good rule of thumb. And when you can minimize it, it allows things to be done efficiently, which means at the end of the day, or they can pack everything up ready for the next day, which we'll talk about later again, as well as when they're in class, they can pack things up quickly, get to the next class. They're not having to clean everything up. Keep it simple is always a good rule of thumb. And when things are simple and efficient, quality goes up. Thank you very much for watching Part 3 of our Tools of the Trade, and hope to see you again in the next one. And remember, enjoy the process.